All right, today we're going to upgrade our power system. I've been putting it off for a little while, but today's the day. So we're gonna go from the camping life to hopefully having a bunch of power. So what we've been doing is we had this little 400 watt inverter that does 24 volt. I got it wired up to these Anderson plugs that connect into these batteries that I bought. I've got 4 of these, and they're 24 volt batteries, and they're I think 170 amp hour, so they're pretty big batteries. And these 4 batteries are going to power our house, but with only 400 watts you're pretty limited to what you can run. Basically been running just the water pump for showers, and the only downside here is I had no way to charge these batteries because I don't have a 24 volt charger. But luckily they came shipped with a decent amount of capacity in them, so we've just been using them sporadically when we need them. So the new inverters that we got are these Grow Watt 3000 watt inverters, and you can parallel these up. So we got 6000 watts here, and we can configure them so that we get split phase 220 or 240 or whatever. And then my grandma gave me this electrical panel that was just sitting in her garage forever, so it saved me a few dollars there. And yeah, and these are 48 volt inverters, so because I have 4 batteries I can just series them up and then parallel them to give me 48 volts. I do that with these. So this one here is a series cable that I bought with the batteries. So you connect 2 batteries and you have 48 volts. And then after I connect 2 sets, then I have the parallel that I connect both 48 volt sets so that I have one big battery bank. So first thing is, I guess we'll unbox the inverters. So these inverters are an all-in-one. So they got, well, obviously they're DC to AC inverter, and they've also got a charger in there for AC to DC if I want to use the generator. And then they've got direct inputs for your solar, your PV input there. So it's super nice, and that they're already set up for parallel connections. Makes things super easy. You can do up to 6 units. And here's what it looks like in there. Looks like everything's pretty straightforward. You got your inputs, your outputs, and then you've got your, it's hard to read in there, but you got your PV, and then your battery, positive and negative. Looks pretty simple. So what I want to do here is I want to set up one of these inverters on a set of batteries temporarily, so that I can use the inverter and the batteries to run my circular saw, and then I can build a little temporary power shack to hold these batteries and inverters and panel and everything all together, safe from the weather, until I can install them in the shop once we move in there. So I'll hook this thing up. Give myself a little outlet here. I'll just plug that in, or well, wire that in, and then temporarily hook it up to the batteries. And I got myself some my resistor set up right here so that I can charge the capacitors and the inverter. All right, let's see how this goes. A bus? Maybe. Could. Really not a lot of room around these ribbon cables or wires to get your output source here in. Alright, here's my plan to series up my loads here so that I can get my 30 ohm resistance receptacle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect them in the middle here so that they're not paralleled up, if that would only work. Alright, so we're disconnected there, disconnected there. Hopefully the DC doesn't jump that, but I don't think it will. We'll see. Alright, so we got a few pieces of wire here. What we're gonna do, connect one wire here, and then we'll cross it over. Alright, there we go. Add some loads to this thing and we should have ourselves a resistor. Okay, so here's what we got for loads here. We got a 100 watt bulb, and we've got the wife's hair dryer. So these are the settings I found that gave me what I want for resistance. So ideally, if I plug this into here now, and then I plug the toggle light into here, and they're both in the on position. So now if I hook this in, got 34, 35 ohms. So that should be just about right. So I know they don't really need it, but the nice thing with these batteries is that, well, they've got a on-off switch, which is kind of whatever. And then also they can tell you what the voltage is on each battery, which is, I guess, not really important, but I don't know, kind of nice for me screwing around right now. So I can turn the batteries on, off. And then, like I said, they got the Anderson style plugs, just plug right in, so there's no bolting up of wires and whatever. So let's make this into a 48 volt. I take this. I'll plug that one in. And then plug that one in. Oh, might help if I turn on the batteries. Look at that, 48 volts. Okay, I added a little alligator clip to the end here. And then I'm gonna add that onto the negative there for the battery. I got the negative for the battery here. Turn the batteries on so we have power. And now we're just gonna touch these together with hopefully no spark, and we're gonna do that for a few seconds just to fill up the capacitors. And then we connect it. Not a spark at all. Alright, connected up. The unit is on. I don't know if you can see that. But it shows me I've got 48.7 volts going in from the battery. And the output is 120 volt. Look at that. We have power. Okay. So this is our temporary setup for now. And then I've got our input wire here that I'm going to connect to this wire, which is gonna go to this plug, which I'm gonna wire it for 120 because that's what they want for input for charging. This used to be for my welder. And then I should be able to charge these batteries up with the generator. So let's try that. All right, so I connected our wires up here. We only want 120 volt for charging the batteries through the inverter. So I hooked up our neutral. We got our one hot wire, and then our green is going to be our ground. And here's our plug. It plugs in to the generator.